The Braum, that is a draft adaptation. We have seen them. They had they pulled out because they've seen SHSU. That is something that definitely comes from prep, and I want to see if they've got answers to other picks that we see a lot of out of SHSU.
Ladies and gentlemen, just to clarify, this is an unfortunate side effect of the way that Spectator Client works with League of Legends right now. It isn't working very cleanly. So you are seeing some of the picks that you saw from the last game. That is just the residual thing. So don't worry about that one. It will come back in just a moment. So it will refresh as the new picks and bans come through. As the Tom Kinch going to be another target ban away from iLucky. And the LeBlanc and the Viego denied there for the side of Flash Abusers. You should just see if Flash Abusers saw anything in that last game that they think they need to take away, as that's going to be that Braum ban by Sam Houston.
So now if you're the Flash Abusers, just go ahead and ban the Renata. Yep, there you go. And so the ban stayed the same, except we see Braum and Renata come off the board because that matchup is so one-sided. And an iLucky first pick. Oh, wow. Mundo Aatrox. That's a lane.
Yeah, Aatrox, I think, is going to be half to favored in that lane, though. If you're looking at it, just better trading patterns, a lot of damage. Mundo, I think you probably favor later in the game when it becomes a sort of hyperscale situation. Is Rek'Sai going to get locked in there? Okay, this is a champion we've been starting to see in Olaf. Okay, all right, we got some spicy picks coming through because a couple of these junglers we haven't seen in a long time. Olaf getting locked in for Fozzie. Rek'Sai going to be piloted by Squid. This is a champion we started to see a little bit more in pro play, especially over the last couple of patches where some of the lifesteal that has kind of kept Rek'Sai out of the game has been nerfed, and Ari maybe the pick up there for Wash mid. Wow, okay, this draft is moving fast. It's moving really, really fast. Akali going to be locked in for style. Ari going to be there. That is a counter matchup for Akali, though. Ari is a really, really good pick into Akali.
Yes. Okay. So one, they are drafting angry again. It's a good thing we get that 3 minutes after the draft to talk about this. But just going over what we see in front of us, both these junglers are extremely early game focused. They are going to not just fall off, they are going to massively fall off after the 25-minute mark. This is sin to win in the jungle, and whoever manages to exert more force and more will on the map early on is going to have an advantage. In the mid lane, this is another good adaptation from the Flash Abusers. We've seen SHSU Styles, Akali, or Echo, these champions multiple times. So seeing the Ari come through is brilliant as a counter pick to that. And we've got, wow, a scrappy team fight from SHSU with the Lucian Nami coming through as well. Jinx Leona, just very standard in the bot lane for Flash Abusers. Very, very interesting and dynamic drafts here.
Yeah, but alrighty, well, we have laid out the win conditions. It is up to the teams to try and make something happen. Sam Houston down one game of this series as they get out onto the Rift. Another 5-man stack here from this FA squad. They got a flash early at our Esca goal last time, but of course that was in the bot lane. They might be looking to try and find the same thing here just to see if they could catch someone from Sam Houston overextending, or maybe they can look to try and force a late invade.
Yeah, this looks like they are waiting to see if this Olaf is going to invade into their Rek'Sai. It's not uncommon for Olaf to look for something like that. You can start the enemy Raptors with Undertow and just completely take that away as the Olaf. So we'll see if they're able to find a pick here. Looks like just going to be a ward going down for the Olaf. But yeah, no, this is going to be a game where we really have to focus on the jungle matchup early and keep an eye on these junglers because, like I said, these picks lose a tremendous amount of value. And yeah, look, it's sticking around here for Fozzie Bear. Looks like he's not going to go for that start on enemy Raptors, though, which is wise.
Yeah, Ping's going down on the Fozzie just to keep in check with him. Obviously didn't want to try and invade that. Didn't have information as to where any of those FA members were standing, so we'll just peel off. This is going to be a parallel start for both these junglers, so we could be seeing that early clash that you were talking about for Olaf into this Rek'Sai, but is going to have to balance out with the fact that Wash is probably going to have the early push into Style here. Should just have the early priority with playing that mage. And again, Style going to have his work cut out for him, too, playing the natural counterpicked himself, obviously, with the Akali there. Obviously, I think, because we didn't see how draft went, actually, because they just picked according to role. I think that was locked in, and then the Ari was the response there. That, for my money, is I think, likely what happened. So, again, just interested to see if Styles going to be able to execute on that. So, but obviously, one of the other things I kind of want to talk about for that, too, is this Akali is a champion that, if it doesn't get a lot of kills, if it doesn't start to get early pressure, they're going to even start losing early pressure in this bot lane, is Esco going to be forced to blow the flash early. So forget any kind of early trading power. He's going to eat one more rock. It will drop to critical health. It's going to be forced all the way back, so not even going to be able to win that early lane there. But what I wanted to highlight... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, that is a huge mistake by Areshkagal. When you've got your Olaf pathing towards you, you know you want to go for this early game play where you've got a level 2 or level 3 advantage with the Olaf. To lose that flash that early, definitely
coming down, though. This bot lane fight's going to start off. It's going to be first blood for Areshkagal. What else can they get, though? Bento sure they're going to be dropping here as well. So this should just be a second kill. Flash out. More Q to try and do it. Undertow's going to land. Squid is here. It's not going to be enough to stop him, though. The Xenoblade is going to time out because he dies while throwing it. So when you die and you throw your ability, it doesn't get to land. So Fozzie Bear going to walk away with a kill, and so will Areshkagal. And I think if you're Areshkagal, you had to get that kill, given the way that 1v1 and the 2v2 went early on.
Yeah, absolutely. Areshkagal finding that kill to make up for the big mistake. Definitely beneficial, but in addition, the 2 kills going over because the Olaf was there. So they still get kind of what they were looking for with this early game clear. I think that was a premeditated play, and so a very good choice there by SHSU to be able to find that. We see just a little bit of a raw gank here in the mid lane. Nothing working there for
just trying to keep style on his toes. Just want to make sure he's not getting too cocky in that call. We don't want you to feel like you're going to have an easy time of this if you're Flash abusers. But Kramer, you pointed something out that I think bears a little bit notice too, which is kind of the mistake that Areshkagal and Melancholy kind of made with the pathing of that Olaf, trying to pay attention to it. And I'm interested, is this something that Sam Houston are going to have to continue to put pressure towards in order to make sure that this lane doesn't keep losing? They do have a small bit of experience lead. And, even as I asked that question, Fozzie's answering it. He's picked up the red buff. Is going to get spotted. No, it's not going to get spotted out on the ward, sorry. Was looking at the wrong ward. But is this a lane that Fozzie's going to have to continue to visit, given the fact that, even in that early state, Leon and Bento were able to get, a pretty favorable trade?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be honest about it. That was mostly a lane condition issue. Areshkagal and Melancholy Peach did not respect the fact that they were going to be level 1 to the level 2 of the Flash Abusers bot lane while the wave was still pretty far from their turret, right? And so that's just like basic laning issues and not something that we're used to seeing from the side of SHSU. But in terms of do they have to play towards this? No, I don't think they have to. I think that Nami and Lucian can organically win this lane, as we are already seeing them kind of equalize and stabilize now that level discrepancy, the all-important bot lane level 2 isn't as much of a problem. What I do think, though, is that they should play towards it, regardless of whether they need to or not. I think this is Fozzie Bear's best chance to get an advantage on this map. Either that or play into this Aatrox, but, if you've got to pick one champion to get ahead between a Moonduck or a Lucian, you're going to pick the Lucian every time.
And I think that's the right call for Sam Houston. They could choose to do that. And Olaf is going to have access to some of this earlier skirmishing power and a little bit earlier damage, so they can look to take an early dragon. And I think for Sam Houston, you'd like to get that win condition stacking as soon as possible. If you can call Fozzie down there to start this up, because if you're looking towards the late game, I mean, Sam Houston are going to get outscaled. It's a Jinx on the other side. It's a Rek'Sai that is going to be pretty good towards the late game. Ari's always going to be a conditional, mid lane win, priority for this FA squad. So, I think Sam Houston are to some degree on a timer. Obviously, Lucian scaling is a little bit better. Hold on, fight breaking down the bot lane. Zenith Blade going to land. Resco going to get exhausted, and he will be dropping here, and that was going to be responded to there for the side of FA. They didn't want to let that one go. Flash out from Melancholy Peach. And yeah, Sam Houston going to get traded back in the end. Fozzie trying a little bit of damage right now. He's going to walk out of the chain. Sin Mulfer does not have access to the ultimate as it's going to time out, so this will just be a trade kill across the top lane. So Sam Houston find a way to respond.
Good job by Fozzie to continue finding leads on this Olaf. That is all important as an answer when you see the Rek'Sai on the bottom side of the map. Also, worth noting here that this jungle matchup so far has gone incredibly even. They've got a similar level of gold spent. They both had impact on multiple ganks. And so a good job here by both of them to understand that they need to play this early focus on the junglers. Now, as the Ragnarok comes through, now for Fozzie Bear, you have to look with the ghost up, with your ultimate available, which should be here for Fozzie Bear. Yep, off this blue buff. You have to start looking towards your bot lane and get that bot lane going. They continue to trade out aggressively. You know that bot lane's going to stay volatile. Be the change you want to see in the game. Head down there and find some kills.
And I think for the side of Flash abusers, I think the biggest thing for them is going to be making sure that they can respond to that aggression, especially now that Fozzie does have access to that Ragnarok. So it's going to give him a tremendous amount of sticking power, again, with the Nami, especially running through a lot of the CC that Flash abuser trying to set up. But 1v9 is here. Now, this is responded to by Fozzie. He knows this is happening. It's a level lead for the Olaf right now. Squid hitting down on top of the Dragon just to see if anybody was there. This is going to be the commit. This would not be a great commit. This is going to be the Flash Zenith Blade missing. Trying to land the Q proc now. And now Fozzie is here. And this may be going the way of Sam Houston. Bento was for sure going to fall. Fozzie Bear not going to activate the Ragnarok yet. He can choose to do so. He's going to activate it now. They're going to chase underneath the turret. Undertow going to land, but it's not going to be enough damage. And so they will likely just go ahead and turn and get that Dragon.
Yeah, the Ragnarok commit unnecessary there for Fozzie Bear. But for the Flash abusers, you missed everything in your walk up to Sam Houston State. The Zenith Blade misses, the Chompers miss, the tunnel doesn't connect for Rek'Sai. Why do you continue to walk into a Nami Lucian knowing that they're going to be able to kite you?
Even the auto attack. Even the auto attack Q miss. You want to talk about missing everything, but Washed Up not going to miss that. Fozzie trying to live for so long manages to pop the chain sword, or sorry, not the chain sword, manages to activate the Iron Spike whip to get a little bit of health, but we'll just trade 1 for 1 in the end. So
that's bit of we in the business call #worth 450 for 300. We take those.
And ultimately, it's not going to be too bad of a trade for Flash abusers. You are just happy to collect that kill. It's only 1 Dragon, so it's not like Sam Houston have gotten a win condition started. Now, if Sam Houston do get the next one unanswered, then obviously it starts to become a little bit more sketchy. But I think in that instance, you're happy just to get the shutdown gold off the Olaf.
Yeah, absolutely. And this Olaf definitely, 80% kill participation already. This pick is already starting to show a lot of value for Sam. And because they are playing it correctly, because Fozzie Bear is continuing to find aggressive fights, which is what we wanted to see as iLucky continues to have a rough go of it here in the top lane. And now one thing I do want to ask, while we've got a little break in the action, talking about this mid lane matchup, Akali into Ahri, and what we know about Style and what we know about Washed Up Mid. We don't know which got picked first, but would it surprise you at all if Style saw the Ahri and counterpicked himself because he just thinks that he can pull this matchup off?
Given the fact that I have seen Style play for so long now, it would not surprise me at all. I would, however, question the sanity of doing it given the fact that Ahri is such a strong pick into that Akali, and I think, that bears some questions to what Sam Houston thinking in terms of that draft. Is Melancholy going to drop over to level 6 there, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. Style has been known for this kind of carry play style. He's obviously been tremendously strong on a number of these picks. And, walking in Akali right now does have 1 kill, so is going to be doing okay, having access to some of that early gold. So, again, it's just going to come down to execution. And I guess, to answer the question, it doesn't surprise me all that much.
No, I think that objectively on balance, Style is definitely winning this as we see the all-in. That's a Lucian Nami moment.
He's just going to go down. Yeah, that's you stand too close to your turret with no help, and Lucian just gets to all-in. You didn't even pull out the Coven, so you want to talk about Style. Eshgirl deciding he wants to put his own signature on that one, and Bento maybe looking for something here, but there's no way they can take this fight. Eshgirl didn't use anything to get that kill other than a flash. You would have the culling available.
Just a punishment on the Lian as this charm lands. I think that's just going to be a little bit poke out. One thing I do want to highlight here before we get too far from it, as we see it all in the top lane. Oh, okay, interrupt me, gentlemen. Okay, no, we're just going to see a trade out of the Mundo Ultimate. That Rift Herald for the Flash abusers, we saw the Leona roam all the way up. And while Lien did get punished on the bottom side for his own greed and trying to stay around that turret, it was really good to see that Leona come up and look for that Herald assistance as we have an escape mission here in the bottom side of the map.
Sam Houston, I was going to say they might be getting punished for their own greed, but they're not. They're just going to walk into the bank, steal everything, and then walk out like smooth criminals as Fozzie going to take away that blue buff and deny it from Squid. So, interesting point, I think, to make, especially given the fact that Sam Houston are in a much better state this game, obviously having much more success early. Again, seeing some trades, not necessarily go their way in terms of individual matchups, but for Sam Houston, your win condition is very much online right now. Lucian is going to back. He's going to have a pretty nice back, I think, might be able to finish this Gale Force, having gotten the kill and the plates.
Force,
yeah, will just be a Gale Force finish there once he completes that back. Obviously, that Gore Drinker already available. for Fozzie. So, I mean, the Olaf is online, so you can continue to start to take more of these early trades and put pressure around the map. Now, that was traded for the Herald, so I'm interested to see what Flash abusers want to do with that. If they want to try and continue to prioritize Shen, or maybe if they want to play, maybe towards Dragon. Obviously, they have a number of options available for that. But Sam Houston, I think that they're okay. I think they're willing to be a little bit more patient with this and continue to push their lead.
Yeah, at this point, I would probably try to play this towards the top lane, and it looks like they are. As we see Squid path up into this Tri-Brush, we could have a dive on this Mundo if we can get a wave crashed here. The passive's procced, the ultimate's down. This could just be an all-in dive. There's the Herald. Yeah, I think we're about to watch die on the top side of this map.
And Fozzie is
they're gonna let him walk.
Yeah, Fozzie's gonna be able to knock. Force the Squid away. The Herald will go down, so a couple of plates, but that ultimately is not going to be the turret going down for Sam Houston. So, yes, you are going to give some of that plate gold over, but it's not the end of the world. They're going to be able to respond to that, especially given the fact that Escrigal and Melancholy have been pushing so heavily down here. Dragon is in less than 30 seconds. Another Herald not going to be available, so that's ultimately going to be a short-term play for Flash abusers, I think, where Sam Houston obviously going to be able to pick up quite a bit more. They know Rek'Sai wasn't at top side, so should just be getting the recall off now. They're going to continue to secure some more of this vision and try and set this up. As Mid's going to get knocked up there, it's going to be the full ultimate commitment there from Melancholy. Is ticking away. Style going to follow over now. Waited so long, is going to have to get that and is going to kick up the kill. Zenith Blade, maybe to Bento's death. Does have access to the flash, does have access to the exhaust. Solarflare going to come down, trying to see if they can bait it towards Squid, and going to be the flash out from them. So that will be the entirety of Flash Abuser's chance to contest for that Dragon, as they will have to now leave out of that. Escrigal and Melancholy just going to walk back. Squid trying to step up. I wouldn't gander too close to that, my friend. They can still turn around and kill you. They're going to take the blast cone over. This should just be the Dragon going over the way of Sam Houston.
Yeah, the Flash Abuser's just playing too hard into this early game skirmishy comp of Sam Houston, trying too hard to contest things. And you're probably going to give over this Dragon anyways, understanding just the power levels of these teams. You don't need to give over kills and summoner spells as well. Understand that, the other team has a little bit of an advantage on you just naturally with their champions. Don't help them and support them in finding this advantage and growing this gold lead the way you have. But Sam, piloting this well, doing a good job of pushing this lead. Got the Riftmaker completed now for Akali, who's got 2 kills, a 25 CS lead, and is fully online. I expect to see Style do great things in the near future to help his team continue to further this lead.
For sure, and that was going to be my big question for Style going into this matchup is, was he going to have success piloting it into this Ahri? Was he going to be able to get some of this early itemization, get these kills? And the answer is yes, 2-0 on that Akali right now. Riftmaker boots completed, so is going to be able to deny some of the magic damage coming out from his counterpart on the other side there. And, now he has kill threat on multiple members of this Flash Abuser squad, so Sam Houston, they're in pretty good position to start taking fights on their own term. Obviously, they're having a much better game in terms of the early stages than they were last game. 2 dragons to their name. That it will be an Ocean Soul, so that'll be coming up. So that'll feel even better for the Sam Houston squad. And I mean, even iLucky having a much better game too, has been donated the 1 kill there in the top lane, has not had to worry about much, has the completed Frostfire. So honestly, these Sam Houston members, they're just chilling right now. They're not too worried about much, and they can continue to try and take some of these leads, continue to try and take some more skirmishing fights, and ultimately it is going to be down to Flash to respond to this. As iLucky going to blow the flash and the ultimate to stay alive there. Shen going to force him out of that top lane.
Yeah, the ultimate healing coming through should help him continue to be able to clean up this wave under the turret, but he's got to be more mindful of this poke. I was just about to compliment his weak side play here, understanding that with the Lucian Nami, hold on. Oh, the ultimate counter to Rek'Sai.
Style held there for so long. It's going to be the ultimate coming out of him, and now the Akali is going to drop. Squid flashes over the wall. Ragnarok activated for Fozzie Bear. Undertow not going to be enough. Going to live with a sliver of help. Now Sam Houston, what else do they want to get here? Bento trying to land the Zenith Blade, but the full bailout from their mid and their jungler means that they can't stay here to try and contest Sam Houston for this. So a kill traded for nothing but a Scuttle Crab and EM, and Flash Abusers, they'll be happy to walk away with that.
Yeah, absolutely. A nice shutdown there for the Rek'Sai onto the Akali. And I was just about to talk about how clever that setup was from Style, lurking, waiting for Akali or Rek'Sai to walk up. The best counterplay to Rek'Sai and Rek'Sai's passive is to stand still. Don't give her tremors to sense. And Style did that, but I guess just was not prepared for the damage, and honestly, neither was I. Squid just nuked him once he realized where he was at.
Flash Abusers may be trying to set up a dive for this turn here as they try to knock this down. Fozzie is here, though. We're going to take a couple of auto attacks, but instead, yeah, they're going to let it drop. Sam Houston, they want to try and take this. Squid and Shen are going to drop a little bit low here, but Fozzie will have access to quite a bit of damage. He's going to use that Gore Drinker to stay healthy. And you know who's not healthy? It's going to be Shen. It's a double kill for Fozzie Bear. And that's going to get turned on its head. Yes, they donate the turret in the end, but they're getting gold where it needs to be. And they're going to be happy to walk away cleanly with that.
Fun fact, if you get into a fight where Olaf gets to stand still and auto attack, he is almost always going to win. The sustain and healing coming through, as they just simply were not able, without the Rek'Sai ultimate, without that Void Rush available, to burst down the Olaf there. And so this jungle lead continuing to grow for Fozzie Bear. And yes, both these champions are going to fall off eventually, but you don't want to, give him this much priority and kind of delay that fall off by accelerating Fozzie Bear this much, which is a mistake that if I was a betting man, I'd say the Flash abusers are soon going to come to regret. As I have another question for you, Horizon.
All right, I'm ready.
I don't want to get too worked up. I don't want to get too excited here.
The answer's 5, whatever it is.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I don't think it's 5, but I think it might be 3, as in maybe a game 3. I think that
you know what? I'm thinking
trajectory we might get it.
I'm thinking we might be able to get a game 3, but obviously we have a lot left to work for, and there are still a number of win conditions that Flash abusers have. Right? They do have the scaling in their pocket in terms of having access to that Jinx. Ari is still going to be able to become this tremendous team fighting threat for them. So the game is obviously not done and dusted by any stretch of the imagination, but Sam Houston are putting in the work that they need to do to make sure that this game goes their way and that they get to a game 3. They do have a couple thousand gold lead secured right now, and they will try to continue to expand that as much as they can. They have a second Rift Herald, so they can look to make a play around a dragon. That's going to be coming up here in about 20 seconds, so they can either plant that in the mid lane or maybe even plant it in the bot lane if they want to try and be extra greedy and make a play towards a tier 2, but I think it will just be the mid lane play. Or if they even decide to place it all, they may just decide that they are just stronger, period, in these fights. Is Teleport going to come out from Style towards that mid lane? He may be caught here. He's going to have to get his way out. Style gonna have to dodge the solar flare. He's gonna get knocked up in there, but it is in the smoke now. They've wasted a lot to try and lock him down, and now this will be the re-engage from Sam Houston as Undertow gonna come out to try and slow. Remember, Star gonna pick that one up, and then Eskragol's gonna pick up his own kill. Sorry, that's gonna be downloaded over to Nami, and they're gonna be diving his turret. Sam Houston, they want to try and make the most of that. A lot blown there for the side of Flash abusers to get nothing. This Herald's going to get popped, so that means this mid lane turret's going down. And Kramer, that also means that the Dragon's going to go their way. When you win team fights like that, when you punish sloppiness and overextension like that, you get to do what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. A Style with the John Cena "you can't see me" moment. You cannot cue or stun what you cannot see, Bento. And so the overextension into Style after the solar flare connected really got punished, and then just Shim Molfer caught out on enemy Raptors getting 2v1'd by the bottom lane. That just surprised me when I saw that on my screen. That was just a bad look.
The fried chicken strikes again, and the only one that ended up being a fried chicken was Shin Molfer there on the other side, just getting caught where he didn't belong. But no, I mean, you highlighted it perfectly. That's exactly what Sam Houston needed to do. And now, I mean, they've got themselves a pretty significant spot. The gold lead has extended ever so slightly right now. It will become more as they continue to push their leads. They got that mid lane turret. They have 3 dragons. So now Sam Houston, they get to dictate the rest of this game. They get to dictate the pace and decide where they want to pick fights. And unfortunately, Lucky walking into this is going to pick the Scryers. He's going to see a couple people there. The CC's not going to land quite yet. Solar Flare is going to come down. They're going to try and lock this guy down. They need 4 to do it. Wave's going to try and just buy a little bit of time. Void Rush out and Super Mega Death Rocket to put the nail in the coffin. Shin going to pick that one up, but it took a lot for them to lock him down. I'm not actually sure that was worth to expend all of that just to knock down the Mundo.
4, count them, 4 ultimates in exchange for 300 gold. I don't know if that's worth it, and this Baron start,
they know this is happening.
Collapsed on.
Sam Houston know this is happening.
This is punishable.
There's bonus gold on this Baron, and it might just be looking a little too shiny. FA might be trying to get a little bit greedy right here. Chompers to buy a little bit of space, but you don't have the ultimates to fight this, and now they're going to get punished for it. Cole's going to grab one. Leah going to be the first to go down. This Baron is a step too far for Flash abusers, and they're going to have to get their way out of dodge. Fozzie going to try and keep landing some of these undertows. Sam Houston, they could look to turn them for themselves. Somewhat low health bars here for Flash abusers. Can they get this out? There's going to be the teleport commit here for the side of Lucky. He'll get there in time for this, and they're going to force Flash abusers off, and that was a step too far.
Yeah, they need to be more aware of the fact that they simply do not have the damage to start that Baron, and also the call was disjointed. There were 6 or 7 seconds there where the Baron's being taken by the flash abusers, where Lien's not hitting it, as we see Sam start this up.
Yeah, they're looking to see if they can try and flip to get this one now. Squid is available, does have access to the Ignite. Super Mega Deathworker gonna get it. Blue team's gonna grab us, so Sam Houston will get out. I don't know why I said blue team. Sam Houston, they are blue, and they're gonna be making flash abusers feel a little bit blue after punishing them for doing the Baron and then taking it for themselves. Excellent response by Sam Houston.
And a delightful save by you on making the flash abusers feel blue. That was well done, sir. But yeah, this is a good pivot by the squad of Sam Houston to just immediately punish not only the Baron start, but the pick, chase them all the way off, take away some vision so they can't cleanly re-engage. And then,
speaking of re-engage, Sam Houston, they're going to be looking for an engage themselves. Wave's going to hit onto one. Sam Houston trying to run in. Escargol's going to get exhausted. Xena Blade's going to land onto him, but it's not enough to buy some time. Bento caught out on his lonesome. He is standing where he doesn't belong. That Leona's going to drop, and so is Shin if he doesn't get his way out of here really quickly. Trying to flash on top of Escargol. No, the Kolik's not going to get enough, but it's a double kill for the Sam Houston ADC in the end. He gets traded for mid, but that is a poor consolation prize after getting caught sieging onto the tier 1 mid.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe a 2 for 3 fight there in the mid lane, 2 for 4 fight there in the mid lane for Sam, and just continuing to take these suboptimal fights is the flash abusers. They definitely need to calm down if they want to find a way back into this game. But honestly, I don't know if they can afford to, with their jungler so quickly falling off. The Rek'Sai pick did not pay off. The base is falling apart slowly but surely as these outer turrets get claimed up. We even see a TP here from Style to go ahead and grab that last outer turret, and Sam is just snowballing this game out of control.
Yeah, they're starting to put the final little bits of work in that they need to close this game out. They're even invading here on the side of Flash Abusers jungle, just trying to choke out any of these resources that they may be trying to use to get back in the game. And I mean, you've rightly pointed out, these picks have not worked for the side of Flash Abusers, so I think it might be a case of going back to the drawing board for them and figuring out exactly what they need to do. You know, obviously this bot lane, a lot less agency to get things done, other than some early game trading that kind of went their way. You know, didn't have the same effect as that Jin Braum lane. I think Sam Houston have done a pretty good job in answering and getting back in the series. So, I mean, for them, I think it's just going to continue to try and close out this game as cleanly as you can, and then, you know, get ready for a very, very close game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd like to take a moment to point out that Sam, even though they're winning quote-unquote team fights, if you look at the layout of these team fights, they are still playing towards how their champions want to operate, right? They are skirmishy. They are divided. You're using the Tidecaller's Blessing and the Tidal Wave to send this Olaf into the enemy backline and create kind of a fight on multiple fronts as we see Sam secure this Dragon Soul for themselves. And that's just something I really like seeing them do with this very different style of comp from their game 1, is create team fights that are not true 5v5s. It's a 3v3 and a 2v2. They're scrappy, they're skirmishy, and they are consistently going the way of Sam Houston State Esports.
Yeah, and if you wanted to get an example or get an understanding of how this game is going for Flash Abusers and how they might be feeling, there was not even an attempt to contest that Dragon Soul, which is not something we see from a lot of teams, because I think we've seen in a lot of series where teams know that a lot rides on a single decision. And speaking of single decision, that decision from Fozzy may have cost them that team fight. Escargol now going to have to try and do a lot of work to get in the health bars of the side of Flash Abusers, and that may just be the Baron being canceled there for Sam Houston. Fozzy Bear stepped up way too far and got punished for it.
Yeah, Fozzy with a bit of a disrespectful pathing there, walking into somewhere he simply had no vision of. A little too confident he wasn't going to get one shot, but if you walk headstrong into an Ahri and a Rek'Sai and hold Ragnarok for that long before you try to bail out, you're gonna get killed for it. Also just needed to recognize when dead is dead. Burns the Ghost and the Ragnarok there. The Ragnarok will be back up shortly, but not having the Ghost could prove costly on a champion where your entire playstyle, as I had just talked about, is to run at the enemy backline and create a team fight that is not a true front-to-back 5v5. That's a lot to commit to die.
Kramer, we're going to get a replay of that moment. As it starts off, Sam Houston just trying to work their way through the mid lane after securing that wave. So they're trying to contest this. They have access really to most of the area on the map. So just slowly clears it away. But then you're going to see iLucky. He's going to start to walk up here towards this left side. Tries to place the ward to get a little bit more vision. Is actually was placed by Melancholy. And then just overcommits thinking he's safe. And then it's just the full commitment there. And then after the Everfrost is burned, blows the ultimate to get out, but at that point, it was just way too late.
Yeah, absolutely. All of these cooldowns, if you're going to try to live there as Fozzie Bear and avoid giving up the shutdown, need to come out immediately. Be decisive. You've been decisive the whole game. Don't stop now. Get out of there or don't. Waited too long, and that's something we see too often at every level of play. We see people hold sums, or we see them use them late, even in professional play. Late flashes still happen, so I don't want to, go at them too hard for it, but it is something that I want to call attention to our viewers. Be a little more decisive with your summoners. They're going to come back eventually.
Sam Houston, speaking of decisive, trying to make a decisive decision to go for this Baron, and might be trying to pick a couple kills before they do it. Colin's going to come out on Shin. Can he manage to survive it? Nope, sure can. He's going to drop, and now that's going to be the signal for Sam Houston to start up the Baron. Things going down on top of the jungle, though. They may not want to flip it. Washed may be caught here, has access to the ultimate. Fozzie going to miss on the undertow, so Washed will get out. Going to trade at Q and trying to land a little bit of damage with Sam Houston. They're deciding they want to fight this right now. Ragnarok going to be activated for Fozzie. And is ultimately just going to use it to zoom around a little bit faster. Sam Houston going to make their way out of this bot side, out of this jungle. Likely go over to the Baron after this reset.
The waves aren't in a bad spot. You just need to get the mid lane pushed out, and then you could start to set up around this Baron. You've got total vision denial. I don't know if they're aware of that, but they definitely could just fire up this Baron. And one note I do want to make.
Might be caught here.
In a precarious predicament.
He doesn't know Squid wrapped around behind him. Does have the ability to get out of this one. Style walking back forward. He took that a little bit personally, I think. That's going to be two forms of image and a miss. And now Style's going to jump back in. Solar Flare's going to land, but that may not be enough to knock him down. Ignite ticking, another Zenith Blade going to miss. Is going to get stunned up at the end off the auto attack. One more Q would do it. Style, can he get his way out of this? Flash forward from Bento. He gets shut down, but Sam Houston, they're going to secure the Baron after giving over a kill.
Oh, the Super Mega Death Rocket was actually close this time to stealing away that Baron, but no cigar, as Style manages to trade one out because nothing was landing for the Flash abusers. And that's just fine. You trade one kill for one, those nullify out, and so at the end of the day, you just net a Baron for Sam Houston.
Kramer,
Baron of the game.
We're gonna watch that replay. I want to count the number of CC that missed on that. So he's stepping forward here. You start to see Squid try and wrap around him. So Style doesn't have vision that he knows that this is going to happen, but the instant reaction here is gets down, throws the Shroud, steps back forward. Right, you're going to see the Everfrost go wide. One Zenith Blade, that's two. Smite comes down, that lands a little bit. Then Solar Player's going to land. Another Zenith Blade's going to miss because they're going to miss the Charm. Zenith Blade miss, so that's three. Q finally lands, and then one more Q was enough to do it. And this is going to be the Flash Q to secure it, but that was a lot of CC missed to try and secure the Sam Houston mid laner.
Yeah, I think about counting correctly, we had the Unburrow from Rek'Sai, so the knockup misses. We had 3 Zenith Blades, a Charm, and a Everfrost in there, so what, 6 total whiffs?
6 total whiffs.
As HSU Style manages to style on them indeed.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of indicative of how this game has been going, where he felt comfortable to even step back up at that matchup to 1v3 and say, no, I can take this. I can get at least one of you. And managed to do it, and underneath the tower, no less. And now, yes, was traded back, but Sam Houston were just happy to collect the Baron off that one. Oh, he's lurking. He's waiting.
Oh.
Molfer.
Can I ask why the AP Assassin has 3,000 health?
You know what? That's an excellent question. Next question, sir. No, look at the items that Style was put together. Has that Oblivion Orb, so going to be cutting down on any of the healing being offered to any of these members, limited as it is on the side of this Flash Abusers comp. Has the Shadow Fire, has the Demonic Embrace, has the Rift Maker. So if this Akali gets on top of you, you are likely just taking a one-way trip to the Death Chamber. And speaking of Death Chamber, they want to try and add lasers to their already deadly comp. Oh, Style. This is a massive level difference from Squid. You do not win. It's disgusting. You hate to see it washed. Now he's going to try and get out of this. Style, he may decide to chase this all the way underneath the turret. Now it's going to be the Stasis. Going to buy a little bit of time. He will have access to the Shroud here, so just trying to juke a little bit. As the Zenith Blade will eventually put an end to Sam Houston's shenanigans, but that's going to be traded for the Elder in the end.
A Zenith Blade landing as Style trades another neutral objective for his life.
It said Shin Molfer got the kill for that one. Explain that to me. Did he? Oh, never mind. I was thinking it was the Rek'Sai. Okay. Aatrox was there. I was figuring. I thought it was the momentary mental lapse. I thought it was the Aatrox that went down, but I forgot it was the Rek'Sai that died. I was very confused.
It was a very, very delayed red buff proc that last hit Style there. But no, this is just, I think, not to be too hard on it, an abhorrent macro decision from the Flash Abusers. if you're going to pick somewhere to stand and fight, it's got to be this Elder Dragon. I would be shocked if the game doesn't end within the duration of this Elder, especially with how Sam's playing, as they have now traded, style trading 1-for-1 in kills in exchange for a massive neutral objective on the map twice in a row. And I'm genuinely shocked that the call there was to try to pick style rather than contest that Elder Dragon and maybe hope to get a pick before style shows up to this fight. There's so many options there that I think are better than having your underleveled, underfed Rek'Sai run blindly into the fed Akali on the enemy team.
Well, in all fairness, Squid didn't necessarily know that the Akali was standing there. They thought maybe he might have backed and had the unfortunate of walking into the same bush that demonic Akali had decided to occupy. But your point is, I think, correct. Obviously for Flash abusers, you have to make a decision at some point where you want to commit. And I think that all committing for the Akali, who has already gotten a kill, I think was maybe not the best example of good shot calling, especially when you know that the Elder is available in advance. And interesting to me that many members were even up there in the first place, and that Squid was the one to be up there when you know that this Elder is going to be a huge win condition for you. And now, Sam Houston, you talked about winning on this Elder. They want to do exactly that. They're going to charge underneath Bento, try and get these turrets down, because the first one's going to break in the mid lane. They're going to pick up the first inhibitor, likely going towards the bot lane. Lucky gonna be living for now. Squid, one more cleaver would knock him down. That's the laser beam straight to the face. Squid's gonna be the first one to draw, as Escargot gonna go a little too far on that one. They're gonna be missing a little bit of damage, but Lucky wants to try and take this. Their health bars are a little bit low. He's gonna die before he can get the Elder proc. Sam Houston may have given over a little bit more than they needed to. They're gonna have to find their way out of this base, but they have cracked it, so Sam Houston starting to put the final nails in the coffin.
Yeah, Sam decides to surprise me by getting a little hypey there. Reshkagal throwback to game 1, dashing into the enemy team. And that just a interesting series and sequence, as we do see Style run away aggressively. And so, not too bad, as you do break base, you trade some kills back and forth, which is all fine. But I think that could have been a lot cleaner from Sam, and I would have liked to see a little bit more control, as we saw pretty evidently the front line of Sam miles ahead of their back line, running down the side of the Flash abusers. The Olaf and Mundo just literally several screens away from any DPS. So
now, Kramer, that's the good news for. I think that's about the. Oh, hold on. Style may decide he wants to get another kill there. We're gonna get this. Really multiple members will not save you, Squid. You may have your team here, but that's the Fed Akali. They are going to let him go. Okay, so he's not going to... So to my original point. Now, that was the good news for this Flash Abuser squad, was that they did stop the siege onto the base. They have only lost the mid lane turret. Yes, that will hurt for a little while, especially as the Baron is up for Sam Houston, and they are running straight towards that objective. But that's where the good news ends, because unfortunately, Akali, who's, by the way, still pushing bot lane by herself, and Squid's not even going to try and contest this Baron. They're just going to try and kill Style here, who is more than happy to just waste their time ducking, diving, and juking in this Shroud, as that is a ultimate commit there from Squid. That's a one-way ultimate, my friend, as he chooses to get himself out of there. But the bad news now starts to stack for Flash abusers, as not only does Sam Houston have the Baron, but Kramer, you know what I see for Style? You know what I see in that inventory?
What do you see in that inventory?
I see an empty item slot. And there are a number of fantastic items that if Sam Houston, for whatever reason, cannot choose or cannot end out this game with this Baron, that he could fill that item slot with if he did want to. Obviously, not going to have access to the teleport. It's going to be slow pushing in this bot lane as 4 members of Sam Houston going to siege down on this top lane. So Flash Abusers, you're going to have to choose your moment soon on when you want to go in.
Yeah, the Flash Abusers, I think, needed to choose their moment several minutes ago, and I continue to be surprised by what they will and won't contest, as this Akali that, as you so cruelly just pointed out, is going to get harder to deal with somehow, is not a neutral objective that is going to help you win this game. At some point, they need to pick a fight, and so, well... they're
going to pick their fight now. It's a full commit on this top side, as Areshkakal is going to slay... going to be slain by Squid. Sam Houston going to try and see what they can salvage out of this one. They're going to pick up a couple kills. Right now, it's 2-4-2. Sam Houston trying to find something. What else can they get? They've still got Style pushing into that middle lane, still getting onto these Nexus Tower. That's going to be the first one going down. So Sam Houston, that's worth. They give over a couple kills, but they didn't get the key member. Style still up. Melancholy still here. Lucky still able to siege on this one. That is all 3 inhibitors available for Sam Houston. 2 of them are cracked. This is the only one that's not there, and it's fixed to go down. And that was their moment. That was Flash Abuser's moment to try and pick a fight. That was the best they were going to get. Now Sam Houston, they're going to look to reset this one. And Kramer, that NT item slot, it's about to get filled. And oh, this is going to be the death cap. He doesn't have enough to finish it, but that's a needlessly large rod.
That's a death cap inbound. But I do want to talk about that team fight we just watched and the fact that at the start of that fight, Aresh Kagal gets absolutely deleted immediately. So that is in effect a 5 versus 3 because Style is not there and Aresh Kagal immediately gets popped. Yes, you traded 2 ults to pop him like that, but in terms of the rest of the fight, it's a 5 versus 3 where you don't have the Leona ult and you don't have the Rek'Sai ult. And still, it ends up a 1-for-2 trade in favor of Sam Houston after Aresh Kagal falls.
They're looking like they want to try and contest this this Elder, but you do have Style pushing in that mid lane. Rek'Sai is wrapping around. They have access to the smite. They're going to try and knock down Shin Mulfer as quick as they can, and he's going to fall almost instantly. So that's going to be one down for the side of Flash Abuser. Style. No mercy. Trying to get on top of. He's going to slay Lean right in front of his friend's face. You thought you were going to survive. No, sir. He's going to get a second. He's going to be looking for his third. Squid in desperation trying to get it. It's a double kill for Style. Solar Flare just to buy a little time. But Style, now he's got access to the Elder, and he's got access to a triple kill. He's going to be in the mid lane. He's going to knock down that final Nexus turret, and the Nexus turret is going to fall for Sam Houston. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got ourselves a full best of 3. It's on to Silver Scrapes.